So let's go through the basics of spatial searching in GeoClerk, which is one of the two main ways of searching along with keywords. Obviously, you can combine the two together. There are two ways of spatial searching. One is from state and provincial geological survey maps. I'm not going to go through that here. I'm going to go through the other method, which is to search from polygons or complex shapes that you have created within your account. So how to create those shapes is the subject of another video. But here I'm going to show how to use them to do spatial searches. So click on your initials in the top right, where everything associated with your account is. Click on My Shapes and you're taken to a list of either shapes that you've created or those that have been created within your organization and shared across the group. So I've got quite a lot in here. You may not have as many. You see a map on the right showing you where all the shapes are. And I'm just going to use this E693424 tenement from Western Australia to demonstrate this today. So if I click on that, it just shows me where it is on a map. And then there's a series of buttons next to it, which I'm going to go through now. So most obviously, click Search to perform a search of that spatial area. So if I click that, it quickly goes off and pulls back by default all the images, but also all the text and the tables that are associated with documents that intersect with that shape. And importantly, and one of the best features of GeoClerk is that when you do a spatial search like this, it orders the results in terms of spatial relevance. So it's going to give you the images which have the greatest intersect with the shape you're searching, therefore probably the most relevant to your search first, and those that are more regional or continent-wide documents will be at the end of the list. So if I click on the spatial button next to the first image, it shows me the shape for the document that it's come from, and you can see that now that is pretty much covering the area that I was searching. If I go down the bottom of the list, jump down a few pages, and then click on one of the other shapes at random, you can see that it's less relevant now to the shape I was searching. It just clips that area. And the further down the list I go, the less relevant those shapes are to the area I was searching. So GeoClerk helps to get you the information hopefully you're seeking quickly and puts it at the front. So that's the basics of how to do a spatial search. There's lots of other things you can obviously do from here, and they're all the subject of other videos. One thing you can quickly do is combine that with a text keyword search to reduce the number of, or find the images within that shape area that are relevant to your particular exploration target. You would have seen on the list of My Shapes, there are lots of other buttons alongside the search. The next one I'll show you now is Docs. So if I click on Docs, what's that going to do is create a spatial image showing all the outlines of where all the documents are from that contribute to that spatial search. So this is the result, and the orange outlines here are all of the areas where there is a document covering that shape that it was part of the spatial area that we searched. So you can see they go from regional to much more local. You tend to get a lot of text over the top of one another here. There are 691 documents. One of the things you can do here is just click on the shape and take those out of the map. You can do that for some of the regional shapes, either excluding all the documents or just excluding the one document that contributes. The text is somewhat overlaying on each other. You can't really see what's behind that, so you can go into the menu and just turn that off, and then it's much easier to see what's going on. You can continue to take out some of these regional documents. If you want to refine the area that you were actually searching, it sometimes gets hidden by all the others. Just click on that twice and it will bring it to the front, and you can see it in blue there now. What you can then do from here is use the magnifying glass once you've reduced the number of documents a little bit, and research that area, but just using the subset of documents that are now left. So there'll be less than 691. It'll probably be down to 670, but you could take out a lot more. So that's the Docs button. If I go back, you'll see there's a couple more buttons. There's a Summary CSV. If I click that, what that's going to do is create a CSV file listing all of those documents that we just saw, all 691 of them, and it'll put them in order of spatial relevance. So that way you can have create yourself a list. Some people like to work through this list to make sure they've checked through every document to see what information is within them. But if I click on that CSV file, it'll open it up. I'll just expand out the document title column. You can see it looks like the same documents repeated, but in actual fact, you can see there's different numbers of pages, and that's probably because there's appendices that have been opened up, zip files that have been expanded to be ingested into GeoClerk. Columns in here of relevance, there's a column B enables you to click on View PDF to actually view the PDF file of that document. So you can click on that. Column E is called Rel, that's relevance. That shows you the relevance score, how relevant that document is to the shape that you were searching. So 59%, it's a score out of 100. And as you can see, it's in order of relevance. There is a link to both the abstract and the appendix from the Geological Survey, in this case WAMEX, but whichever geological survey they're coming from. And then there's a list of what type of images are in the document. So that's the summary CSV. The next button is a summary shapefile. If I hit that, what that basically does, it combines those two previous buttons. So it outputs a GeoJSON file, which is the list of all of the combination of all the shapefiles that you saw from the Docs button, and the attribute file with that associated with that shape, the GeoJSON file, is that spreadsheet that you've just seen as well. So that was downloading that. And then the other buttons are to be able to edit the shape. So if you click on that, that brings up the editor. That's the subject of another video. And then you can delete the shape, you can copy it, or you can download the GeoJSON. So that's the basics of shape searching in GeoClerk.